Hey everyone, it's been a while, and in this video, we're going to learn how to create our own token or NFT using the command line interface from Solana. So like always, my name is Josh, and this channel's mission is to accelerate the world's transition to blockchain technology. A quick overview of this video, which I promise will be short, is we're going to do three things. We're going to, one, learn how to create our own token using Solana. Two, we're going to learn how to create an NFT, which will be exactly the same. And three, we're going to learn how to wrap and send SOL tokens across the Solana network. So essentially, what we're really going to do is we're just going to go over this link up here in the docs. But it's very important that we learn how to do this because these are the tools that we'll be able to use eventually, not in this video, but eventually in our code. What we will not learn in this video, we will not learn how to actually go about adding a name to your token that you create. And we're not going to talk about how we can add the token to a DEX and provide liquidity with solutions like Serum and Radium, because I ain't got the money to do that. So that being said, big thanks to our sponsor, myself. And in this video, I highly recommend checking out the setup video that I've made, which I put the big arrow over there. I'm going to briefly talk about it, but I will just assume we can all figure out how to set up Solana. And then, of course, as always, disclaimer, this is not development advice. We are getting close to rug pull territory. We are learning how to create our own tokens and NFTs, so who knows what malicious actors could possibly do with these tools. So, not my fault if bad things happen. Let's get to it. So the first step is we need to set up our tools. Technically, I'm not sure if we really need Rust, but the problem with where I'm at is I already installed everything, so I don't really know what tool is needed. But generally, I recommend just to have your own Solana setup. So to do that, first you need to install Rust, the programming language. Second one is you need the Solana CLI tools. I honestly believe this is the only tool that you need, but I don't know. And then after that, supposedly what we'll be really using in this video is the SPL token library. I technically don't think I ever installed, but that's what the instructions said, so let's just do it. The SPL token, we'll talk about this later, stands for the Solana Program Library, and it's just a special set of helper libraries that allows us to do other things like token creation. And of course, just for the sake of this video, we're also going to install a Phantom wallet if you have not done so already. This will be just used to demonstrate how we would transfer tokens. And a final note on this is, unlike all of our past videos, we're not actually going to deploy any programs. So in this case, you can actually follow this video on your Windows environment, and you don't need to set up a WSL instance or anything else to create your token. So get that all installed, and then let's get started. So the first thing after we install everything is we need to set up our environment. There's three things that we need to do. First, we need to create a local wallet that will store our SOL tokens that we need. Then we need to set up our local Solana environment to be in the DevNet, which is just another testing environment. It's not the mainnet that everyone's connected to. Normally, we've been working in localhost, but I found that in the case of minting, we weren't actually able to use it in localhost, so we're using DevNet instead. But because DevNet is not real, we can do things like Solana Airdrop 1, which will airdrop a SOL token into our account. So we can use it later in this video. So let's just quickly get to it. So I'll just pull up my command prompt over here. So from my past videos, I have a WSL instance. It's a Windows subsystem Linux environment. It basically allows me to have Linux on my Windows environment, which is very important for deploying Solana code, but in this video, it's not necessary. Okay, so now that I'm in my Linux environment, I'm going to the root of my environment. I already have a wallet, so I'm not going to run that command. So I'm going to skip that part. But the part that we need to do is set the Solana command line interface to the correct network. So that's Solana config set URL, and we just give it devnet. So if we have other commands, and if you look at the past video, we go through some of the Solana commands you can have. But if we do Solana balance, you can see that my current wallet has 13 SOL on the devnet environment. But if I want to give myself more SOL, I can do Solana airdrop 3, and then we let this run. And then if we do a balance, we can see that, okay, fine. Big mistake. We actually can't give more than a certain amount of Solana to ourselves. There we go. Okay, so 3 is probably too much. We can only give ourselves 1, for example. So now in theory, we have Solana set up, we have our wallets, and we have some Sol inside our wallet. So let's actually learn about minting. All right, so we're gonna create a token. So this is a 8-step process. First, we're going to do a create token. So this command will create an arbitrary hash that will represent our token. And we won't talk about it in this video, but you can go to Solana's GitHub repo and basically map your token address to a name. We're not going to do this. Going back on topic. Now, once we have our token ID, we need to create an account that will actually hold all the tokens that we're going to mint. And that's our second command. And then once we have our account, we need to actually mint or create the tokens. And that's basically SPL token mint, give it our token ID, and then we just specify how many tokens we want to create. And the next command from line 4 and 5 is how we check the supply of our token. The difference between supply and balance is supply is how many tokens are in existence, while balance is how much token you have in your account. So if I were to give 10 tokens away from my 100, I would have a supply of 100, but my balance would be 90. And of course, if we want to check all of that, we can just do the SPL token accounts command. That will tell us the account and how many token is still left with that account. And if we want to transfer funds, and this is actually a pretty important command because I can see many smart contracts use this to send SOL or other tokens to someone else. To actually give tokens, we use SPL token transfer. We add the parameters fund recipient. I'll talk a bit about this later. We give the token ID, how many tokens we want to transfer, and then the wallet that we want to transfer this to. So what the fund recipient parameter does, or argument, is that for a certain wallet to be able to take in a certain token, you need to essentially pay rent to have an account to hold that token for that wallet. And so you could get the user of the wallet to do that themselves, or you, the sender, could pay the SOL to create the account for the recipient to hold the token. And finally, maybe we decide that we minted too many tokens or something else, and we don't actually want that circulating in our ecosystem. So if we want to get rid of those tokens, we can just run the SPL token burn command, give it the account ID, not the token, but the account ID, and then specify the number of tokens you want to burn. And that's it. So let's go through a quick example. All right, so back here. All right, so let's first create our token. That's SPL token create dash token. And that will create a token. As you can see right here, this CPAR1 yada 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 yada. This is our token. So congratulations, everyone. We have made our own token. We're going to copy and paste this. I'll probably save this somewhere else so I don't want to lose it. But now that we have this token, we need to create an account that's associated with our token. And now this creates a new account, NZHGI. This is what we're going to use to store our token. And now let's actually mint our token. So right now, if we check our supply, SPL token supply, and then we give it our token, we'll see that we have 0 tokens in circulation. So now let's mint some. And we'll just mint 100. Now, if we were to check our supply again, we see now that we've officially created 100 of our tokens in existence. And of course, if we want to see the account that's associated with it, we can just do SPL token accounts, and we can see that, well, you can see our token that we created right here. We'll talk about what this SOL1111 is later, and we have this other account, and this is just for when I was playing around with the minting token, so ignore this. The important part is, here's our account, and we have a balance of 100 tokens. That being said, let's get to the fun part. So now we want to send our token to someone else. So for that fun activity, we're going to use our own Phantom wallet. Let's just drag this up here. I will click on the Phantom wallet button. I'll log in. And the important part is that first, when you open your Phantom wallet, go to the, let's see if I can make this bigger for everyone. No, I can't. All right, sorry that this is the size we get. But in the cloud button, go all the way down to the change network button. Click that and make sure that you're in DevNet. If you're not in DevNet, we have to be in the correct network to receive the tokens properly. Okay, so once we have that, you can see in my DevNet Phantom Wallet account, I already have some unknown tokens, so you can see the end result. So that's all the setup work we need. Let's go back to our command line and let's start writing our transfer command line code. So spl token transfer fund recipient, make sure you spell that right, and then we need to give it the token ID, which if I scroll back up here is this one. And let's say we're transferring 10, and then we need the wallet address. So we just click this button right here. It'll copy our wallet address, and that should do it. So once we execute this command line, we will send 10 of our CPAR tokens to my Solana network that is on the DevNet. And because we are running the fund recipient command, we're going to use our SOL. So for example, we have 14.33231952. Remember that. And after I execute this command, okay, so you see this command, this is sent successfully. We transfer our tokens to our wallet. And if we do a Solana balance, you can see that our SOL has dropped by 0.01 something. Yeah, this is 0.33, this is 0.32. So we're spending our own SOL token to create the account to hold the new token on my Phantom wallet. Let's go back to my Phantom wallet and let's see if it shows up. Okay, there we go. Yeah, see, unknown token. So Phantom doesn't understand what the token is because we haven't registered it on the Solana GitHub repo, but we can still see it. So we have 10 of our CPAR tokens, and we can see that it's been successfully sent to this wallet 1 minute ago, less than a minute ago. So that's how you send a token and how you receive it. And then if we check our Solana accounts, we can see that now we have a balance of 90 tokens. If we want to burn our tokens, we just need our account address, which is right here. And we can just do spl token, give it the count, spl token, burn our account ID, and let's say 10. And then if we check our accounts again, we see now that we have 80. And that's really about it when it comes to creating and sending your own tokens. Hopefully not too painful, because we're going to be learning how to use all this programmatically in following sets of videos. Right, so that's creating a token. Let's talk about NFTs next. Creating an NFT actually is not all that different from creating a token. In fact, it's actually pretty much the same thing. The big difference here is that when we create our token, the first thing is we have a new arg called decimals, and we give it 0. What this basically means is what is the smallest size we can interact with our token. And in this instance, an NFT, we cannot trade partials of an NFT. An NFT is essentially only one token. Next up, we need to create the account for our NFT. That's not anything different. And then we need to mint our NFT. In this example, we only minted one token, and that one token will represent whatever virtual item or physical item that we want to tie the generated ID to. But in our example, we just want to mint one thing. Now, what makes NFT a bit special compared to other tokens is that NFTs are unique because there's only one ID that represents whatever that you are selling. And to prevent you from illegally cheating and generating more of those tokens or NFTs, you can run the spl token authorize, the token ID or NFT, mint, and -- disable. And what this basically does is that it permanently disables your capability to generate that NFT, but essentially making whatever token ID you generate unique and impossible to replicate. That being said, let us go make our own NFTs. So, all right, so back in the Linux environment, we do spl token, create token, and decimals 0. So woohoo, we have our new NFT. This can be tied to anything. I can maybe make an NFT of my channel. This token ID represents my channel. Just like what we've been doing before, we need to create an account to go with our token, or NFT in this case. All right, so now we have an account. Now we need to generate our token. So we can do token mint, give it our NFT ID, and we just create one. Boom, we have one coin now. Now we need to restrict access to minting. Otherwise, I can come back and arbitrarily mint more after I sold my first NFT, and no one wants that. All right, so now that it's disabled, if I try to mint more, you see that it fails. So that's all for NFTs. Hopefully nothing too complex. It's exactly the same thing as creating tokens. But the big difference is that we are disabling minting so that there can only be a finite amount of tokens in existence. All right, and so finally, the last part of this video is how do we transfer Solana? So we all know that we can send our Sol token with our wallets, give it the wallet address and just, send the token over. And that's great, and that solves most cases for manual users. But what if we are trying to create a program that does that? In that instance, from my understanding, you actually cannot send your native Solana tokens across the network. We can only send these tokens. So how does Solana get around that? We can essentially wrap a Solana, which then converts it into a wrap Solana, which is a token, and then you can transfer that token around. So the command for that is pretty straightforward. It's just spl token wrap 1, and that will just wrap the Solana that is on your account that you just created, or your wallet. And then when you run that command, it will generate an account ID that holds the token, similar to the account that we've been talking about in the previous 2 examples. And then if we ever want to unwrap the Sol, we just do spl token unwrap, and then we just give that account ID. And so if you saw this in my command line earlier, there is this SO11112 token ID. And what that is the token ID for a wrapped Sol. And so once we have that, now we can send our Solana across to different wallets in their accounts, or maybe even more importantly, maybe some smart contracts that will hold the Sol for you for a moment of time. And then once a certain condition is met, it will release the fund to another user. And so this is why we are talking about how to do this on the CLI, because in the future, the hope is that we'll be learning how to do this programmatically. So let's quickly go through an example. All right, so let's do spl token wrap 1. Okay. So if you go back into spl token accounts, you can see that I actually already ran the command. So if we actually want to know the accounts, in this example, we just see the token ID and the balance. We don't actually know what the accounts are. So we do spl token accounts -v. This will show us the actual accounts. You can see I already created some wrap Sol that is added in this account. So if I want to unwrap it, I just do spl token unwrap, give it our token ID or account ID, and then I'll unwrap that. And then if we check our account again, we can see that the Sol token is gone. And if we look at our Solana balance, we can see that we have 0.5 more Sol. All right, so now that that is figured out, let's go back to the example. So we'll just do spl token wrap 1. This creates a wrapped Sol for us that's put into this account. All right, so now we have our wrapped Sol. Let's send it. And we can do that by doing the same thing we did for our other examples. We do spl token transfer fund recipient. This might actually fail because I refunded it last time. We need to specify the token that we're sending, which in this case is the Sol. We're just going to send 0.5, and then we need to get my Phantom wallet address. So remember, I have 1,138 Sol, or 8.5 Sol right here. Yeah, remember I have 8.5 Sol. So I give my wallet, we send it, and it is successful. And let's go back to my Phantom wallet. Brush it a bit. Okay, there you go. Great. So you see, I have Sol now in USD in fiat currency. But more importantly, if we look down here, we have wrapped Sol. And so now that we have this token, we need to convert it into actual Solana that we can use. So we click on it and then we just click unwrap all. And then there you go. It unwraps itself. And it may take some time to load. There we go. So it's gone now. We unwrapped our Sol, and now it is actually native Sol token that we are holding in our wallet. Unfortunately, this is just on DevNet and it's not real. But hey, 10 money, right? All right, and that is actually it for this video. Wow, we've never had short videos. So this is just a prerequisite of us manually doing what we're going to learn how to do programmatically in the next couple set of videos, which hopefully won't take too long. But if you found this video helpful and you learned something, please do me a favor and give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't. Otherwise, I will see you all later in the next video.